The fall of Nova Haven. The observation deck of Nova Haven's central spire offered the best view in the colony. Commander Elena Diaz often came here during the station's simulated night cycle, when most of the colony's 1.5 million inhabitants were asleep. Tonight, the vast expanse of stars seemed especially vivid, like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Beautiful, isn't it? The voice belonged to Dr. Sanjay Patel, Nova Haven's chief scientist. He joined Elena at the viewport, his reflection ghostly in the reinforced glass. "Never gets old," Elena replied. Nova Haven represented humanity's crowning achievement in space colonization, a self-sustaining marvel of engineering positioned at the edge of explored space. After 60 years of development, it had evolved from a research outpost into humanity's most advanced deep space colony. Their peaceful contemplation was interrupted by an urgent chime from Elena's comm unit. "Commander, we're detecting anomalous readings at the edge of our sensor range," reported Lieutenant Kim, her voice tight with concern. "Define anomalous," Elena replied, already moving toward the exit. "Multiple objects approaching at sublight speed. No warp signatures, no identification signals, and no response to hails. They just appeared." By the time Elena reached the command center, the situation had deteriorated. The main view screen displayed a formation of vessels approaching Nova Haven. Sleek, obsidian craft that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "Time to intercept," Elena demanded. 17 minutes at current velocity, Lieutenant Kim responded. Governor Marcus Chen entered the command center, his normally composed expression replaced by barely controlled alarm. "Have we alerted Earth?" "Message sent via quantum relay," confirmed Communications Officer Reyes. But at this distance, any conventional response would take weeks to arrive. Elena studied the approaching vessels. Their formation was too precise, too deliberate to be anything but intelligent and coordinated. "Sound general quarters. Begin evacuation protocols." For the first time in Nova Haven's history, the emergency sirens wailed throughout the colony. In habitation sectors, recreation areas, and hydroponics bays, colonists looked up in confusion before proceeding to emergency shelters. "Analysis of the unknown vessels," Elena asked. 27 craft of varying sizes, reported Tactical Officer Jackson, the largest approximately 2 kilometers in length. "Energy readings are off the charts. They're using some form of propulsion we've never encountered." Governor Chen stepped forward. "Open a broadcast channel." Elena nodded to communications. "This is Governor Marcus Chen of Nova Haven, a peaceful human colony. We welcome peaceful contact and exchange. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." Silence answered them. "No response on any frequency," Rice confirmed. "They're decelerating," Jackson reported, taking up positions around the colony. For a brief moment, hope flickered in Elena's chest. Perhaps they were merely curious, studying this outpost of humanity before making formal contact. That hope died when the first energy beam lanced from the lead vessel, cutting through Nova Haven's defensive shields as if they were paper. The beam struck the main power core, and the colony plunged into darkness before emergency systems activated. "Shields down," Jackson shouted. "Main power grid destroyed." A second beam sliced through the spaceport, vaporizing evacuation vessels that had been preparing for launch. A third beam targeted the communications array, severing Nova Haven's primary link to Earth. "They're systematically destroying our infrastructure," Dr. Patel realized, his voice hollow with horror. "This isn't random. It's execution." In the military command center, Captain Rivera watched as his defensive options disappeared one by one. "Launch all fighters," he ordered. "Target the lead vessel." Nova Haven's defensive force, a mere 18 fighters and 2 corvettes, rose to meet the alien Armada. They were skilled pilots flying advanced craft, but against the alien technology, they might as well have been firing slingshots at tanks. One by one, the human ships vanished in blinding flashes of light, their weapons having no discernible effect on the alien vessels. On the command deck, Governor Chen turned to Elena. "We need to send a final message to Earth. They need to know what happened here." Helena nodded grimly, leading him to an auxiliary communication station. With practiced hands, she bypassed standard protocols, directing power to a quantum entanglement transmitter. Experimental technology not yet approved for regular use. "This is Governor Marcus Chen of Nova Haven," he began, his voice steady despite everything. "We are under attack by an unknown alien force. Our defenses have failed. The colony is lost." His voice cracked momentarily before he regained composure. "They showed no mercy, no interest in communication. They are methodically destroying us. Earth must prepare. What happened here will happen to you if you are not ready. This is not a fight we can win alone." His eyes met Elena's, a silent message passing between them. "Activate Protocol Ragnarok. It's our only hope." The transmission ended as the command center shook violently. The aliens had begun targeting the colony's structural supports. "What's Protocol Ragnarok?" Dr. Patil asked. Governor Chen's face was grim. "Something I prayed we'd never need." The ceiling collapsed before he could explain further. On Earth, in the underground command complex beneath the Swiss Alps, Admiral Weizong sat motionless, watching Governor Chen's final message. Around him, the Joint Defense Council waited in respectful silence, allowing him a moment to process what they had witnessed. Finally, Admiral Zhang stood, straightening his uniform. "Play it again." They watched once more as Nova Haven's final moments were recorded for posterity. A thriving colony of 1.5 million lives snuffed out in less than an hour. "Ragnarok Protocol," murmured General Abigail Carter, her expression troubled. "I never thought we'd see the day." "The aliens left no survivors," reported Intelligence Director Nakamura. "Long-range telescopes confirm total destruction of the colony. They've already departed the system, heading toward the inner colonies." Admiral Zhang nodded, his face betraying no emotion. "Projected course. Based on their current trajectory, they'll reach Earth in approximately 3 weeks. Their technology far exceeds anything we've encountered before. The energy output of their weapons alone surpasses our most advanced systems by orders of magnitude." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had spread to dozens of worlds, but Earth remained the heart of their civilization. If Nova Haven had fallen so easily, what chance did they have? "Marcus was right," Admiral Zhang said finally. "We need to activate the Ragnarok Protocol." The statement sent a ripple of tension through the room. The protocol had been theoretical, a contingency so extreme that many had argued against its very existence. "Admiral," began the United Earth Defense Minister, "the Ragnarok Protocol was never meant to be implemented. The resource allocation alone would what?" Zhang interrupted. "Bankrupt us. Strain our economy. 1.5 million innocent people just died. More colonies will follow unless we act now." He approached the central console, placing his palm on the scanner. "Computer, this is Admiral Weizong. Authorization Zhang Alpha 42 Omega. Initiate Ragnarok Protocol." The system hummed as it processed his biometrics and voice pattern. Then a synthetic voice responded. "Authorization confirmed. Ragnarok Protocol initiated. Warning, this action cannot be reversed. Proceed." Admiral Zhang looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each council member in turn. None spoke against him now. "Proceed," he confirmed. Across Earth and throughout the solar system, dormant facilities began to activate. Deep beneath oceans, buried in mountain ranges, hidden in asteroid belts, places carefully shielded from detection for decades. Red warning lights bathed the faces of startled personnel as they received activation codes they had trained for but never expected to use. In Earth orbit, massive hangar doors disguised as natural features on the Moon's dark side began to slide open. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Hollow rocks revealed their true nature as construction facilities. On the moons of Saturn, frozen seas parted to reveal launching bays. Admiral Zhang turned to face the council. Ladies and gentlemen, as of this moment, we are at war. The enemy has shown us who they are and what they intend. They believe they caught us unprepared. A grim smile crossed his face. They're wrong. On screens throughout the command center, images appeared of ships, thousands upon thousands of warships in various stages of readiness, hidden away for decades as part of humanity's ultimate insurance policy. For 50 years, we've been building in secret, Zhang explained. Every nation contributing resources, technology, and personnel to create a fleet like nothing the galaxy has ever seen. We did this because we knew that one day we would encounter a species that wouldn't be interested in peaceful coexistence. The defense minister stared at the displays in awe. How many? When fully activated, the Ragnaric fleet will number 700,000 warships, Zhang replied. From fighters to dreadnoughts, each equipped with technologies we've kept hidden from public knowledge. And the crews? Someone asked. Volunteer sleeper corps, military personnel who agreed to cryogenic stasis, ready to be awakened when needed, plus automated systems for ships that don't require human crews. General Carter shook her head in disbelief. All this time, right under our noses. Secrecy was essential, Zhang replied. Now we have 3 weeks to awaken the fleet and prepare for battle. He looked once more at Governor Chen's frozen image on the screen, his final desperate warning to Earth. The aliens believe they're hunting us, Zhang said softly. They don't realize they've just woken a sleeping giant. The reckoning. The vast underground chamber beneath the Pacific Ocean floor echoed with activity as thousands of workers rushed to prepare the Pacific Division of the Ragnaric fleet. Similar scenes played out across Earth and throughout the solar system. A massive mobilization hidden from public view for decades, now thrust into urgent action. Admiral Zhang walked along a gantry overlooking the flagship, a colossal vessel 5 kilometers long that had been constructed in complete secrecy. The Nemesis represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, incorporating technologies that most of humanity didn't know existed. Status report, he requested. Fleet Commander Sofia Rodriguez joined him on the gantry. Awakening procedures are at 68% across the fleet. The cryogenic revival of crew members is proceeding faster than expected. Weapon systems are online and being calibrated. The only bottleneck is the quantum drive integration. We're looking at another 36 hours before all ships are fully operational. Zhang nodded, watching as technicians swarmed over the hull of the Nemesis, making final adjustments. And the other divisions? Luna Division reports 75% readiness. Mars Division at 70%. The outer ring installations are lighting at 55%, but that's expected given their distance. We need to be at 100% in 7 days, Zhang said. The enemy will reach the Jupiter defense line in 10 days. Rodriguez hesitated. There's another issue, Admiral. The United Earth Council is demanding a briefing. They're concerned about the scale of the Ragnaric protocol. Zhang's jaw tightened. Politicians, even with an existential threat approaching, they worried about procedures and oversight. Tell them I'll brief them in 4 hours, he said, and have the Nemesis ready for a demonstration. They need to understand what we're facing and what we're capable of. 4 hours later, the 30 members of the United Earth Council filed into the observation deck overlooking the underground sea where the Pacific Division was being prepared. Their expressions ranged from awe to shock to outright anger as they took in the massive fleet below. Councillor Das, the representative from the South Asian Federation, spoke first. Would you care to explain how such a massive military operation has been conducted without proper oversight? Zhang activated a holographic display showing the destruction of Nova Haven. The councillors flinched as they watched the colony's final moments. This is proper oversight, Zhang replied coldly. This is what happens when we're unprepared. The Ragnaric Protocol was authorized by this council's predecessors 50 years ago. Following the Proxima incident, each subsequent council has been briefed on a need-to-know basis. A fleet of 700,000 warships goes well beyond need-to-know, countered Councillor Williams from the North American Union. The resources alone were allocated through black budget programs approved by this very council. Zhang interrupted. Every credit, every resource, every person involved was accounted for. You just didn't ask the right questions. He manipulated the hologram, showing the projected path of the alien fleet. In 10 days, they will reach our outer colonies. In 18 days, Earth. You've seen what they did to Nova Haven. Do you wish to debate protocol, or would you prefer to survive? The council chambers fell silent. I thought so, Zhang said. Now, if you'll follow me, I'll show you humanity's salvation. Back in the command center, strategic planning continued around the clock. The alien fleet, now designated as Voidborn in military communications, maintained its direct course toward Earth. Scout ships sent to observe reported that the alien Armada numbered approximately 5,000 vessels of varying sizes, all displaying the same advanced technology that had devastated Nova Haven. Their pattern suggests confidence, noted Strategic Officer Liang, studying the holographic display. They're not attempting to conceal their approach or vary their course. They don't think they need to, Admiral Zhang replied. Based on what they saw at Nova Haven, they believe our technology is no threat to them. He turned to Fleet Commander Rodriguez. That's an advantage we can exploit. They don't know what's waiting for them. 7 days later, the Ragnarok fleet was fully activated. Ships that had been hidden for decades moved into formation throughout the solar system, creating the largest armada in human history. At its center was the Nemesis, Admiral Zhang's flagship, and the command center for the entire operation. On the bridge, Zhang surveyed his crew, men and women awakened from cryogenic sleep, soldiers who had volunteered decades ago for a war they knew might come in their lifetime. All fleet divisions report ready, Admiral, announced Rodriguez. Zhang nodded. Begin Operation Thunderclap. Throughout the solar system, the Ragnarok fleet moved with coordinated precision. The plan was audacious. Instead of waiting for the Voidborn to reach Earth, they would execute a pincer movement, catching the alien Armada between 3 massive fleets. The Jupiter division would engage the Voidborn head-on, while the Mars division would attack from below the ecliptic plane. Meanwhile, the Earth and Luna divisions would circle around and strike from behind, cutting off any retreat. As the Voidborn fleet passed the orbit of Jupiter, they encountered the first sign that their invasion wouldn't be as simple as Nova Haven. The minefield of quantum disruptors, devices designed to interfere with their propulsion systems, slowed their advance, forcing them to navigate carefully. Then the Jupiter division revealed itself minus 150,000 warships emerging from hiding places in the Jovian moons and asteroid fields. The aliens' formation faltered for the first time, clearly surprised by the scale of the human response. On the Nemesis, Zhang watched the tactical display as the first shots were fired. All divisions, engage according to plan. Show them what humanity is capable of. The battle was joined in earnest. The Voidborn vessels, while technologically advanced, found themselves outnumbered and surrounded as the human fleets executed their coordinated attack. Their energy weapons, so devastating against Nova Haven's defenses, met their match in the quantum shields of the Ragnarok fleet. The Voidborn flagship is attempting to rally their forces, reported Tactical Officer Chen. Zhang studied the movement patterns. They're adapting quickly. Direct the 7th Strike Group to focused fire on their command vessels. For 3 days, the battle raged across the space between Jupiter and Mars. The Voidborn fought with desperate fury, but they were outmatched by the sheer scale of humanity's response and the technological surprises the Ragnarok fleet deployed, weaponry that had been developed in secret for decades. On the 4th day, the tide turned decisively. The Voidborn flagship, a massive vessel at the center of their formation, found itself targeted by a concentrated attack from 3 dreadnoughts, including the Nemesis itself. Gravitic lance charged and ready, reported Weapons Officer Dias. Zhang gave the command. Fire. A beam of condensed gravitational energy, technology reverse-engineered from artifacts discovered decades earlier, lanced out from the Nemesis, striking the Voidborn flagship. The alien vessel's shields collapsed, and its hull began to buckle under the immense gravitational stress. "We're receiving a transmission from the Voidborn flagship," announced Communications Officer Park, surprise evident in her voice. It's a surrender request." Silence fell over the bridge. After what the Voidborn had done to Nova Haven, the concept of mercy seemed foreign. Zhang considered for a long moment before responding. "Accept their surrender. Prepare boarding parties with full security protocols. I want to know who they are and why they attacked us." 24 hours later, Zhang stood in the secure conference room aboard the Nemesis, facing the captured Voidborn commander, a tall, spindly being with iridescent skin that shifted colors with its emotions. "You have questions," the alien said, its words translated by the AI interface. "As do I." "You attacked our colony without provocation," Zhang replied coldly. "Killed 1.5 million civilians. Explain yourself." The alien's skin rippled with dark patterns. "We believed you to be the Devourers, a species that destroyed our homeworld centuries ago. Your colony's energy signature matched their technology. So you exterminated them without attempting communication. The Devourers do not communicate. They only consume. We have been hunting them across the stars for generations." Zhang leaned forward. "We are not these Devourers, but now you understand what it means to face extinction." The alien commander's skin paled. "Your response was unexpected. Your fleet, your weapons, where did they come from? Our scans of your world showed nothing of this capability." A cold smile crossed Zhang's face. Humanity has learned through bitter experience to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. When we began to explore the stars, we knew we might encounter threats. So we built in secret, hid our true capabilities, and waited. The alien's skin rippled again. "What happens now?" Zhang stood. "Now we negotiate terms. Your remaining ships will be escorted out of human space. You will provide reparations for Nova Haven. And you will understand that humanity is not to be trifled with." As he turned to leave, the alien spoke again. "If you are not the Devourers, then they are still out there. Perhaps we have common cause." Zhang paused at the door. "Perhaps we do. But first, you'll learn what happens when you mistake humanity for your enemy." 1 month later, Admiral Zhang stood before the United Earth Council again, this time to present the peace treaty with the beings now properly identified as the Xorlath Collective. "The terms are favorable," he explained. "The Xorlath have agreed to technological exchanges, territorial boundaries, and reparations for Nova Haven. They've also shared information about these Devourers they were hunting." "And the Ragnaric fleet?" asked Counselor Williams. "Remains active and vigilant," Zhang replied. "This incident has proven its necessity. The galaxy is more dangerous than we knew." As the council session ended, Zhang found himself looking out a viewport at the stars. The Xorlath had made a critical mistake. They had judged humanity by its visible technology, not understanding the steel beneath the surface. It was a mistake the Devourers, should they ever arrive, would not have the opportunity to make. Humanity was awake now, its full might revealed, a sleeping giant no longer. The stars no longer seemed quite so peaceful to Zhang, but humanity was ready for whatever lurked among them.